Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday held separate meeting with leaders of the two biggest religions in the country. The president first met with leaders of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, at the presidential villa in Abuja. After that meeting, Buhari also held talks with leaders of the Muslim community. Addressing newsmen after the first meeting, CAN President Reverend Samson Ayokunle said the body demanded Nigeria's exit from all religious organizations. He also said they asked the federal government to tackle herdsmen attacks in the country. Police in Delta State have arrested 4 persons in connection with the abduction of 4 Britons and eventual murder of 1. Briefing newsmen, the Delta State Police spokesperson Andrew Anyamaka said one of the suspects was killed after he opened fire on police officials. 2 officers were wounded in the operation. The 4 foreigners were kidnapped on October 13, 2017 in the Brutu area of Delta State. 3 were rescued by the police and have returned back to the United Kingdom. A federal high court in Lagos has ordered suspected kidnapper Chukwudumeme Onwa-Amadike, also known as Evans, to stand trial for murder and illegal sale of firearms. The judge, Justice Oluwatoyin Taiwo, gave the ruling in response to the defendant's application to quash the fresh charges. The fresh 7-count charge brought against him by the Lagos State government are for offences related to conspiracy, attempted kidnap, attempted murder, and murder. Evans is also facing charges for murder, armed robbery, and kidnapping, among other crimes, at the High Court in a separate case. A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Nigerian Senate to reinstate its former leader, Ali Ndume. The judge, Justice Babatunde Quadri, voided Ndume's suspension and ordered the Senate to pay him his salaries and allowances. Quadri described the suspension as an exhibition of lawlessness on the part of the lawmakers. Ndume was in March suspended for 6 months for deliberately bringing up an issue the upper legislative chamber describes as portraying it in a bad light. The suspension took effect from Wednesday, March 29, 2017. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has vowed to resist any attempts by the Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai to implement his resolve to sack over 20,000 workers in the state. Addressing newsmen in Abuja on Friday, the NLC National President Ayuba Waba said the process of the competency test on which the decision to relieve 21,700 teachers of their job was flawed. According to him, some of those whose names appeared in the list published to have passed the test were either retired or dead.
On the list of those that he claimed have passed the competency test were teachers that have retired and also teachers that died 2 years before the competency test. So the credibility of the entire process is actually in question. And that is why he has not allowed a transparent process where the unions can follow up. Unions can partner with him if it is a genuine process of making sure that the system is sanitized. We will have partnered with him, we will have participated. The Teachers Registration Council will have been there, and also the regulatory agencies that regulate teaching profession will have been there, including possibly also independent monitors will have been there to monitor the process so that the credibility of the process will have actually been ensured. But I think because it was an intent to actually be used to dispense with workers, that is why that process went that way.
The Nigerian Air Force has rubbished reports suggesting it accused the Ministry of Finance of withholding funds meant to assist the military in the anti-insurgency war. The Air Force, in a statement signed by its spokesperson, Air Commodore Olatokunbo Adesanya, was reacting to a report published in the nation's newspaper. The report, titled Boko Haram Open Letter to Finance Minister, was reportedly written by one wing commander A.A. Abubakar of Minna, Niger State. The Air Force in the statement dismissed the report, assuring that the ministry has always provided the necessary support for the force. Advocacy group Bring Back Our Girls is again demanding the immediate rescue of the 113 Chibok schoolgirls still in the captive of Boko Haram. The girls are part of the over 270 schoolgirls kidnapped by the terrorists in 2014. So far, the current administration has been able to secure the release of 103 of them, while a few others managed to escape. In a statement, the BBOG said it will resume its protest at the presidential villa on Tuesday. It cited broken government promises as part of its reasons for resuming protests. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has denied allegations of corruption leveled against him by the Nigerian Senate. The minister is expected to appear before the lawmakers next week after a senator, Dino Melaye, accused him of spending $35 million without the National Assembly's approval. Melaye alleged that the sum raised from $1 billion Eurobond was spent on the Afam Fast Power project. However, in a statement on Friday, Fashola denied the accusations, saying there is no factual basis for the allegations. He also pledged to cooperate with the Senate in its probe. The Nigerian government is planning to partly fund the proposed 8.6 trillion naira 2018 budget with 500 billion naira recovered loot through its anti-corruption efforts. This is according to the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Issei Sage. Sage, who spoke on Friday in Abuja during his committee's interaction with stakeholders, described the federal government's anti-corruption efforts as extremely successful. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has ordered the Nigerian police to pay 12.5 million naira to the Peace Corps of Nigeria as compensation for the unlawful arrest and detention of its officials. Justice Gabriel Kolawole also ordered the police to unseal the headquarters of the Corps in Abuja. The Peace Corps had dragged the Nigerian police and 5 others to court, accusing them of violating their fundamental human rights.
We thank God that our rightful property by way of our tenancy has been restored to us. We thank God that a whopping sum of 12.5 million naira, bring it to a total of about 57 million naira now being owed us by all the accumulated judgment debt. But we'll leave that to the Nigerian state. If the citizen, if the police officers that trampled on our right are the one to pay, we will hurriedly go for the enforcement. But since it is the federal government that this money will still come up from, we will exercise restraint. But we want to say that we will no longer tolerate the infringement of our rights. We are not carrying out the function of any organization. We have a constitution, and we have restricted our activities so far within the framework of that constitution.
It is a victory, for the rule of law. It is victory, for, democracy. This judgment has further reinforced the confidence of the Nigerian masses, in the judiciary as the last hope of the common man. And I hope that the Nigerian police will respect this judgment, so that we can continue to have one peaceful Nigeria. Because if they continue to exercise, perpetrate their illegality and lawlessness, that will affect, Nigeria as one common nation.
The Nigerian Navy has commissioned 20 new boats to boost maritime security. According to a statement signed by the Navy Acting Director of Information, Captain Suleiman Dahan, the new boats are part of efforts to boost Nigerian Navy operations. The boats include 16 locally built Epinel boats and 4 rigid hull inflatable boats imported from South Africa. The newly acquired patrol boats are expected to be deployed to boost the Navy's ongoing operations in tackling maritime crimes, particularly crude oil theft, illegal refining of crude oil, and other unwholesome security threats in the maritime domain.
Corruption not in my country.
What is wrong with you? Man saying no? Tell them I drew for more than 1 hour.
Yeah, me. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ká kúrò fún Ọlọ́run. Ká satisfy yín níbi ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe.
Ẹ wọ́n jẹ́ ká lọ jàre. Ká kúrò ń bí báyìí.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú. Hello ọ̀gá. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín lẹ́sẹ̀ yín. I am assure you 5 minutes. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín. Ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
You are deceiving another customer just like you deceived us.
Same way he deceived us.
Eh? Why?
Ètò ni iṣẹ́ yìí. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun, ò lè jẹun. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun ìyá mi. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun. Workshop mi leléyìí. Ibi tí èèyàn bá ti ń ṣe ló ti ń jẹ. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní workshop. Ibi tó bá ti ń work ni kó má ti shop.
Ego, you cannot base your business on lies. Koda now, it is corruption and it cannot work. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Let's take a look at the world of business with Ngozi Okoye.
Thank you, Fidelia. Nigeria's overnight lending rate fell to 9% in late trades on Friday from around 21% in the previous session. This was after central bank repaid maturing treasury bills to boost liquidity on the money market. The Apex Bank has kept rates higher in Africa's biggest economy to fight inflation and currency weakness and to attract foreign investors. It has been selling treasury securities almost 4 times a week to soak up naira liquidity. Overnight lending rates hit 120% 2 weeks ago after a court ordered the freeze on millions of bank accounts with incomplete identity documents and the bank sold treasury bills. Crude oil markets were slightly higher on Friday, supported by continuous supply cuts and expectations that an output deal will be extended at the end of the month. Brent crude was at $62.22 a barrel, while U.S. crude was at $57.26, up 9 cents. The higher prices are a result of efforts led by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and Russia to tighten the market by cutting output as well as strong demand and rising political tensions. It was a bullish market for the Nigeria Stock Exchange on Friday as it ended the week in gains of 0.19% to close at 37,120.28 basis points. On the positive side, Fort Oil led the price gainers with 2.1%, trailed by Cadbury Nigeria PLC with 1.14%, International Breweries 1.01%, while Nigeria Breweries appreciated by 1.01%. However, the top 4 on the negative table were Cement Company of North Nigeria PLC, Fitzin Healthcare, Access Bank, and Champion Breweries PLC. In terms of highest traded volume, equities of Zenith Bank, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, Fidelity, and First City Monument Banks topped the list. 175.275 million shares exchanged 6.4 billion naira in 3,235 deals. And that's it on business news. We'll return with more stories after the break.
Corruption not in my country.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
But that's how we roll.
Let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
Mbano. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I don't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss. Rubbish.
It is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No.
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make una really add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. 18 militiamen are on trial in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo on charges of raping 46 children. Some of the victims from the village of Kavunu were just 18-month-old. The men allegedly targeted young girls between 2013 and 2016 because a spiritual advisor told them the blood of virgins would grant them supernatural protection. The alleged militia leader, Frederick Batumike, a provincial legislator, and the other defendants have, however, denied these charges. Burundi on Friday rejected plans by the International Criminal Court (ICC) to allow prosecutors to investigate war crimes in the country. Burundi Justice Minister on Friday said the country would not cooperate with the Netherlands-based court, from which it formally withdrew on October 26. Burundi was plunged into violence in April 2015 when President Pierre Nkurunziza announced that he would seek a third term in office. The opposition said the move was unconstitutional and violated a peace deal that ended the civil war in 2005. He won the vote in a July 2015 election boycotted by most opposition parties. Let's take a look at the world of sports now in the final round of matches to compete for the remaining 3 slots for Africa ahead of next year's Football World Cup in Russia kicks off on Friday. Egypt and Nigeria have already qualified, while Tunisia and Senegal are almost there. Senegal could be the first to qualify if they win the match against South Africa to guarantee top spots in Group D. The 5th spot is between Ivory Coast and Morocco. Both teams face off in Abidjan on Saturday. South Africa's sport minister has strongly defended his country's bid to host the 2023 Rugby World Cup following disapproval of the evaluation process by its rivals. The country was announced as the preferred candidate to stage the tournament ahead of France and Ireland after an evaluation by the Rugby World Cup board that scored the bids on a range of criteria. But the results were disputed by French Federation President Bernard Laporte, who called them nonsense. Former Barcelona Spain midfielder Xavi Hernandez is set to retire at the end of the season and is keen to pursue a coaching career. The 37-year-old, who won 8 La Liga titles and 4 Champions League trophies at Barcelona, is currently captain of Qatar club Al Sadd. He collected 133 caps for Spain during a 14-year international career, winning the 2010 World Cup and the European Championship in 2008 and 2012. Well, that's all on News Now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.